Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started here in a second.
All right, everybody, we'll get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice for Pets Live. I'm Bryn Langford, and with me, as always, is Michael Wheelock. We don't have any special guests today, it's just us two, but if you'll have any questions in the chat, put them in the chat and we will answer them immediately.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you all here. As Bryn mentioned, not only one of our goals is to introduce you to different solutions in the ecosystem for our businesses that might benefit you, but we also want you to get the most out of the system that you have here with Voice for Pest, Voice for Turf. So we're going to go over a feature that gets underemphasized today that we feel like you might get the benefit out of. We're going to give some best practices, tips, and tricks around using it. We'll be doing some live demo today. So um, with that, Bryn, you want to kind of go over our agenda for today? Well, oh, I almost forgot our favorite part of the presentation, which is our random question of the session. For those that have interacted with me lately, know I had the opportunity and was blessed to go to Alaska here a couple weeks ago back in the Texas heat. I really wish there were times when I was on the cruise that I said I was cold and I missed the heat, and boy, I'm regretting saying that. But Brent, I wanted to ask you, where is your favorite place to go on vacation, or what type of vacation?
So, to get out of the heat like you, I love going to Connecticut.
Awesome. Where in Connecticut, and what do you do? I don't know that I've ever been there on vacation.
I have family who lives up there. They live right on the beach.
Okay.
So I just
Uh,
beach the whole time, which is really nice.
that sounds lovely right now. A nice
Yeah.
cool beach
Yes.
day, not
Yes.
hot beach day. I don't know that I'd be heading down to any of the tropical places right now. Well,
Nope.
Bryn, why don't you kind of get us on track and talk about what we're going to cover today, and we'll dive into it.
Yeah, no, of course. So today we're going to discover what actually click to call is. You may know the solution, you may not. We're going to see how to use click to call, and Michael's going to give us a lovely webinar demo. And then we're going to go over tips and tricks and how to maximize your customer outreach.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Bryn. So we've talked about click to call before, and we talked about it mainly around mobile devices. So today we're talking about the desktop interface. So your employees that are sitting in the office, how they can launch outbound calls and save some time by not being able or not having to put in the telephone number manually or copy and paste it. This is going to allow them to be able to make more calls, increasing their productivity, hopefully resulting in more sales for your organization and increasing revenue for your organization. We're going to talk about how it really works with any application as long as it's web-based and it can make their life a whole lot easier and how to use it. Now, when we talk about click to call, it's important to note it is used in Google Chrome as the browser. So that's the browser that you need to use. It's actually a widget that gets installed or an extension in the Chrome store. So the first step is you're going to go to Chrome, and in the Chrome store, you're going to look for ATS Click to Call. That's the title of the extension in the store. I've got the direct URL in there for you, and it's going to prompt you to go to a login screen. You're going to use the same login. The user's going to use the same login that they use on the web portal to log in. So that's the user login and password. So it's usually the extension number at your domain name. So in my case, it's 144 at AEL Group. And then the password is what the password is. Obviously, if you don't know that, our support team can help you reset that. I think there's even a reset button. So let's dive in. Not a lot of marketing and slideshows around this. So I've got the click to call installed. I'm not sure if I can highlight or draw. No, that's I'm is it letting me draw on the screen here, Bryn? But you see
It
it
is.
right there in green there. So that is how you access the click to call. So it's up there as a widget in your Chrome browser. You'll see that mine is turned green. When it's turned green, it will actually be active. Now, there may be times where you need to copy and paste a telephone number into another application. That's really easy to do. You just simply click on that extension, and when it turns red, it's no longer active. Now, when you use click to call, and we're going to use it and walk through it here in a second, but we know which user is using this extension in their browser through that login that I mentioned earlier. We're going to call their extension number. And I say we, the phone system's going to call their extension number. When they pick up the extension is when the outbound call happens. So let's look at it in action. And I'm over here in I don't have every software, but I've got Aspire pulled up. Now, Aspire, each software is unique. In Aspire, if you go to your contacts and you select the right list here, so I'm just going to say all the system, all the users in the system, and I'm going to type in myself because that's who we're going to call. So I have my account set up here. You'll notice right now that number just looks like anything else. When I activate the click to call widget by turning it green, you've noticed that it's changed and it looks a little bit like a hyperlink. A lot of times it will inject a blue circle with a phone icon that you can click on as well. So I can click on any telephone number in my browser when it's active. I click on that and it is now ringing my extension. The outbound call hasn't started yet. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that, letting the system know that I'm ready to make the call. And I can handle that call just like any other call that I would use through the system. So your call recordings, your notings, all of that good stuff is present there. Your hold, your transfer, your conference is all in the system. You handle it like normal. Now, a unique thing about Aspire, when I click on that, I actually click on and into the contact. So I can make any notes that I might need to, set up any appointments, etc. So that is a general overview of how to use the tool. There's no cost for this tool. It's available for any user that's a business user or above in the system. Now, we get asked very frequently, hey, I've got multiple businesses that I'm running, and I need to control the outbound caller ID because they may be calling somebody for my pest control company, and then 5 minutes later, they may be calling somebody for my roofing business that I also run through the same phone system. Is there an easy way to change the outbound caller ID or the telephone number? Short answer is yes, through click to call, absolutely. Now I've hovered over the click to call widget icon up here, but instead of left clicking to on my mouse to turn it on and off, I'm going to actually right click this time. And I'm going to come into the options section down here. When the options section populates, it gives me the option to change my outgoing caller ID. So, in an organization, for example, that may make a lot of outbound calls and maybe fighting spam labeling, it might be good to teach your reps to start using a rotation of changing their telephone numbers. So previously, when I clicked on it, the system presented my direct dial number that ends in 4300. This time, I'm just going to select the one that ends in 4539. I'm going to come back to the same view that we were on earlier. So I've got the system open. I can click on it, and my phone is ringing. When I answer it, I launch the outbound call, and now the user sees unique caller ID that's different than what they saw before. I'm going to go ahead and change that back, but there's a lot of use cases around this. Now, the phone numbers have to be part of your phone system to show up in this list. And by default, we usually include just the main number in there. We can include whatever numbers you want in the system. You would just reach out to our support team at phonesupport@affiliatedtech.com to make that change. So you may have tons of numbers in your phone system, but you may only want your users to have access to a handful of those. You can pick and choose which numbers they have access to for their outgoing caller ID. But again, I emphasize that telephone number has to be in your phone system to be able to be part of this list. So that's a good run through of click to call. I know it wasn't a long session today, but our hope is, and let me go ahead and bring the presentation up, by using this simple trick, you'll be able to improve your employees' efficiency, both by making outgoing calls quicker, reducing lead times. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have your email in your browser and there's a telephone number in the email, you can click on that. If you get a lead email that comes in, it's going to give your users a very consistent experience, and your customers will see the correct caller ID both through the default setting as well as the ability to switch the outgoing caller ID. Okay, so any questions before we go to the product roadmap question that we're going to present everyone with?
I think so far.
Okay, guys, don't forget to put your questions in chat. As you know, we try to keep these sessions a little briefer, especially during season, because we know your time is very important. For those of you that are still with us today, we have a unique opportunity for you to control our roadmap. So we are looking at a new solution that offers real-time language translation. So if you're in a market that, let's say, has multiple languages of callers calling in, we're looking at a soft phone on your computer that can do real-time translation of the call. So you have a Spanish speaking caller that calls in. The system can auto detect the language. The rep can activate this as a separate language, and the system will actually do speech to text translation where the rep can see what is being said in the other language. And when the rep responds, it will play that response. So they're not typing, they're talking back to the caller, and the caller will then be able to hear it in their native language. It supports something like 50 languages. The auto detect feature is very nice because um, I may not know, if I'm not a native speaker, what language that person is speaking in, and so it will detect it for me. I'm going to actually bring up a different presentation to actually, I'm going to share a different screen. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Give me a second, but I'm going to give you a preview of what this tool looks like so that you can see it before making a decision. But we are asking you if this would bring value to your organization before we start testing it and potentially rolling it out to our customers. So here's a quick view of what the soft phone or computer-based phone looks like. Excuse me. So I can see, it's translating my responses. It's not translating back, but it would auto detect that. It would play the content of the call or display the content of the call. So we see the transcript in the background here. Hello, this is a test. So that's flowing along the call. This would be a paid service, and it would be a cost for the soft phone per month. And then it is using artificial intelligence to make the translation in the background. But you can activate it because there is a cost per minute on the translation. It would default to being off when your employee receives a call, and they would manually turn it on the call. That way we're not translating, as in this case, English to English, because we don't want to consume those minutes. So when you leave this call, you will be presented with a pop-up that will prompt you on whether you feel like this brings value to your company or not. We're not asking for a commitment. We're not going to reach out to you and hound you with things, but we would love your feedback on whether this is something of interest that you would like us to bring into the portfolio. So again, great opportunity for us to, or for you to influence where we're taking the solution and how we're rolling it out. So, Bryn, with that, I think that was the topics that we had to cover today.
Yep.
If you do want to learn more about Click to Call, you can reach out to us either by emailing phone support at Affiliated Tech or the email that's on the screen, hello@voiceforpest.com, and our team will be happy to assist you. Bryn, last chance for questions.
Nothing so far.
All right. Well, everyone, hopefully, again, this is time well spent. I know today's session was a little briefer than others, but I think this can bring value to your organization. And again, we look forward to hearing from you in the future, and please participate in the survey. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.